All right, this is the standards for the Bear Complex station. This is going to be a 1 rep max of a Bear Complex series of movements. When you get to this station, you're going to have 12 minutes to complete a 1 rep max of the Bear Complex. 12 working minutes, and the remaining 3 minutes will be your rest and transition period on to the next station. When you arrive at this station, you're going to find an empty barbell with weights stacked on the floor. When you get here, you can immediately begin loading the barbell however you like. You can load it light and do some warm-up rounds with it, if you so choose, or you can go immediately into a 1 rep max attempt. The judge who's at the station will be watching you, and whatever weight you complete, whether it's a warm-up rep, will be tallied as your current max until you exceed it with a higher weight. Okay? The Bear Complex is a series of 6 movements that have to be completed in order, the order we're going to provide you, without the barbell touching the ground once the series of movements has begun. Okay, those 6 movements are a deadlift, a hang clean, a front squat, a press from the front rack position, immediately down from the press into a back squat position. You complete a back squat, and then a press from the back squat rack position. Okay, Justin's going to demonstrate the 6 movements in sequential order as they should be completed for the Bear Complex station. He'll start with a deadlift, into a hang clean, into a front squat. To lock out the front squat, he'll complete a press from that position, overhead, takes the bar down to a back squat rack position, completes a full back squat, returns to the lockout position, and he'll press from the back rack position to complete the 6th movement. You can drop the weight, and that's your Bear Complex. All right, movement number 1 of the Bear Complex is going to be your deadlift movement. It's very simple. You load up on your bar, the bar's on the ground, you get set, and you stand the weight up to waist level, fully extending the hips. Go ahead and execute the deadlift, Justin. His hips are fully extended. He's not partially extended. Go ahead and show what a bad rep would be. Start over from the bottom, and just do not fully extend your hips. It's going to be a no rep. Obviously, we want to get all the way to full extension for a good rep. Very simple. The deadlift, first movement. All right, the second movement in the Bear Complex series of movements is going to be your hang clean movement. Your hang clean is going to go from your finished deadlift position. After a brief pause, you're going to initiate the hang clean and take it up to the chest level. Go ahead and execute a good hang clean, Justin. He cleans it up. His elbows get through, his hips are extended. It's a good rep. Okay. Another option on the hang clean station is to do a full squat hang clean. Okay. If the weight gets heavy, you want to squat it in order to get the rep up. You do as follows. Full squat, stand it up. Once again, the elbows are through, the hips reach extension at the finish point of the lift. It's a good rep. Okay. A couple things that are going to be no good, that are going to be no rep. All right. Number 1, and most importantly, on any of these movements in this Bear Complex series, is going to be failing to pause in between movements. So if he does not complete a successful pause in between his deadlift and the beginning of his hang clean movement, it's going to be no rep and it's not going to be good. So go ahead and do essentially a full power clean. There's no pause in between his deadlift and the beginning of his hang clean. No rep. On the same note, along those same lines, if you're gonna squat clean it or hang clean squat it, you have to pause as well at the deadlift level before doing that. A full squat clean from the ground is not going to be a good rep. Okay. Okay, the third movement we're going to talk about is your front squat movement. Your front squat is going to be completed after you complete the hang clean, and it's going to look as such. In order, his deadlift, into his hang clean, into his front squat. Okay? Standards on the front squat are going to be, you're going to need to break parallel with your depth, below parallel, and you're going to have to reach full hip extension at the end of the rep. Okay? Go ahead and step over the bar. I want to go into depth about what below parallel means. Below parallel is a term we throw around a lot, and I just want to make sure everyone understands what it means. When he squats down, he gets to a 90-degree angle with his leg. His femur bone is at a parallel angle with the floor. Okay? If he goes deeper than that point, he has broken parallel angle. Go ahead and stand up. Okay? If he fails to reach that depth, he did not break parallel, he did not go below parallel, it's going to be considered a no rep. With the barbell, it's going to look like this. Okay, so here's a bad rep of a front squat where he did not go below parallel. And you can see it from the side angle, as our judges would. Didn't go deep enough, no rep. Okay, another disqualifier on this movement is going to be failing to reach hip extension at the end of the rep. So even if he goes deep enough, he doesn't break parallel, he failed to lock out his hips, he's overextended, he's not extended his hips, no rep. Okay. On this movement, it's important to indicate that since we're allowing you on the hang clean portion, the second movement, to do a full squat hang clean, okay, if you do such, it will not count as your front squat. You'll have to complete an additional front squat. Okay, so Justin's about to show you an example of an athlete who chooses to do a hanging squat clean for his hang clean portion of the movement. And then he's going to have to complete an additional front squat. So go ahead and show it, Justin, from the very beginning. He'll deadlift. The weight's heavy, so he's going to hang squat clean it. Good, he gets it up, he completes all those standards, he's onto his front squat. He has to complete that additional second front squat for the entire front squat rep that he's doing. Okay, the fourth movement in the series is going to be the press movement. Press is going to be completed from the front rack position, which is the finished product of the front squat being completed. Okay, the press, what we're looking for is full arm extension all the way up and getting what's called your head through the window. Okay, go ahead and complete a good rep, Justin, from the very beginning. He deadlifts, he hang cleans, he front squats, comes up, he pauses, and he begins his press. Good. Okay, go ahead and roll it. His head is through the window, okay? I can see his ears as a judge. I can see his ears from the side. So he presses up, just take it straight up to the front rack. He presses up, and his head gets through. I can see his ears. He's not pressing out in front of himself. He's not inclined pressing it up against the air. And his arms are fully locked out. It's going to be a good rep, okay? An example of what's not going to be a good rep is going to be not fully locking out your arms. Okay, has not reached full extension, no rep, or like we just discussed, not pressing it up and back and not getting your head through that window. If his ears are not visible in the front of his arms from the side by his judge, it's going to indicate no rep. Okay, bring it down to the front rack position. We're going to allow you to complete any type of press that you wish on this portion of the lift. Okay, you can shoulder press it, you can push press it, you can push jerk it, or you can split jerk it. Okay, a couple things that we want to indicate. Go ahead and do a shoulder press, nice and strict. Okay, bring it back down. That's acceptable. Obviously, a push press is going to be acceptable. A dip and drive, good. As long as you're reaching that arm extension and that head's getting through the window, we're good with it. Okay, you can push jerk it. Okay, you can snap down. Okay, when we get into the jerks, the push jerk and the split jerk, what we want to indicate is if you do get that bend in your hips and in your knees to complete the press, you do have to return to an extended hip position, and your feet do have to come back to shoulder width and stable. You do have to show control at the locked out position. So split jerk, push jerk one more time. Good. Return to standing, hips are extended, everything's locked out, heads through the window, good rep. Split jerk, same scenario. Go ahead and split jerk it. He splits it, he good. He returns, his hips are extended, his head is through the window, his arms are extended. It's a good rep. Okay. Feet do not return on a jerk, on any form of jerk. If your feet and hips do not return to an original position, it's not going to be a good rep. Okay, the fifth movement is going to be your back squat movement. It's going to follow your press from overhead. You're going to take the barbell down to your back squat rack position, and you're going to complete a back squat. Go ahead and show it from the very beginning. He deadlifts, he pauses, he hang cleans, pauses, front squats, pauses, his choice is press, locks it out, pauses, takes it directly to his back, and executes a back squat, okay? His back squat, just like the front squat, two standards we're looking for is breaking parallel on depth, which we discussed earlier, getting that femur bone at a greater angle than parallel with the ground, and then reaching full hip extension at the end of the rep. Okay, obviously, just like the front squat movement, if you don't break that parallel, no rep, and if you don't extend the hips at the finish point, no rep. Okay, one thing we do want to indicate as well is take it back to the locked out portion of the press. You do have to take the barbell directly to your back from that locked out position, okay? If you choose to bring it down in front of you and then just kind of get it over your head to the back, it's going to be no rep. You're going to have to start all the way over from the beginning, and all the previous movements are going to be null and void. Okay, it has to go directly to the back from the locked out overhead position of the press. Okay, the sixth and final part of the bear complex is going to be your press from the back position. Okay, we're looking for two things on this. We're looking for arms to be extended and your head to be through the window while you're controlling the weight overhead lockdown. Okay. After you do your back squat, you'll complete your mandated pause, and you can press it up any way you like. You can strict press it. You can get a little dip in the drive. Okay. You can split your feet, split your essentially. Good. Snatch, balance it. Good. All those are acceptable as long as you return to a standing position with your hips extended and your arms are locked out and your head's through the window. Okay, if you snatch balance it, if you walk your hands out to a wide grip, you can stand it up as long as your arms are extended, there's no bend in your elbow, it's going to be a good rep. You do not have to walk your hands back in. We're not looking for that. A few things that will be disqualifiers, obviously, are not locked all the way out. Okay? No good. Or head's not through the window, you can kind of press it up and forward. No good. No rep. Okay? It's important you pause after your back squat, as always, on all these movements before you begin this press.